On the surface, the Victorian era was the pinnacle of human achievement. Massive steam engines, a global empire, and the dawn of modern technology. But behind the top hats and the polished silverware, Victorian England was a pressure cooker. By 1837, the population was exploding. Cities were drowning in waste, and the air was so thick with coal soot you could taste it. If you were a commoner, progress didn't mean a better life. It meant a 14-hour shift in a factory that would eventually kill you. The engine of this change was the Industrial Revolution. It turned Britain into the world's factory. But with great wealth came massive inequality. The government's solution to poverty was the 1834 Poor Law Amendment Act. It was frankly brutal. They built workhouses, essentially prisons for the poor. The logic? If life in the workhouse is miserable enough, people will do anything to avoid it. They separated families, fed them starvation rations, and forced them into backbreaking labor. So, how did a society this unequal stay functional? They leaned into a rigid code, respectability. It wasn't just about manners. It was about controlling everything, from the way you sipped tea to the precise amount of time you spent in public, mourning after a relative died. This was the cult of domesticity. The home was meant to be a moral sanctuary, completely cut off from the dirty, corrupt industrial world outside. It was a societal mask, worn to convince themselves that they weren't living in a chaotic, crumbling urban nightmare. But then came 1851, the Great Exhibition. Prince Albert essentially gathered the world to say, "Look at us. We have the machines, we have the gold, and we have the control." It was the ultimate flex of the Industrial Age. But for every invention displayed in that glass palace, there were thousands of forgotten laborers who built the nation on their backs. The Victorian era didn't just happen. It was manufactured. It was an era of unprecedented growth built on the backs of extreme human suffering, a paradox that still defines how we build our cities today. If you want to dive deeper into the history of how resources, like the coal and iron that fueled this era, shape our world, subscribe to the channel. We're digging into the hidden history of the resources that built the modern age. What part of the Victorian myth do you want to break down next? Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.